It was kind of the way that we did things, or things were done back then with AC/DC. It was a pretty much closed kind of shop. It was like, you're at the hotel, then you go to the show, then you finish the show, then 15 minutes afterwards or whatever. Sometimes we'd hang around and stuff, but we never really got to hang with any of the bands that we played with. It was weird a little bit, I thought.
That's interesting. And you guys, I mean, you guys tour with everybody. Everybody open up for AC/DC.
There were a lot of bands, a lot of really good bands. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And they're big bands now. They've
Huge,
sold a lot of records.
Yeah.
Can remember Queensryche opened up for us as well.
Yeah.
And then me and you did the Jeff Tate Queensryche together.
Yeah,
we got
that's
to play
right.
that material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. We're just starting at
Okay.
the 80s. And how did you get the AC/DC gig?
Oh,
what year was it?
I've told this story many times. I forget which year. I think it was, oh my God, I got to be right here, don't I? No, I can't be right. I think it was like 1982, something like that, 2.5, something like that. Because I was in the band in 83. Yeah, I mean, I was in London, and I wasn't really doing much. I'd been in a heavy metal band called Titan, and we weren't doing much. And a friend noticed this ad in the paper. It said, if you don't, drummer wanted, if you don't hit hard, don't apply. So she said, well, you do, so you should have a go at this, I'm like, I don't know, come on, I'm going to watch some more TV,
How many welders apply for the job?
Yeah, right.
For the gig.
Well, it was funny when I went down, there was a guy sitting there with his drumsticks, and they must have been about 5 feet tall by about 6 inches round. He really wanted to hit hard,
He wanted the gig,
yeah. He really wanted
it. But you had no idea who was it for?
No, there was never any indication as to who it was for.
In the ad, yeah.
In the ad,
yeah.
Yes. Even when I did the first audition, there was no indication. And I did that, and I played to 3 songs. It was Led Zeppelin, ZZ Top, and an AC/DC song. And I finished, and it was with the drum tech, and he said, okay, that's great, that's really great, we'll be in touch. And I thought, oh okay, whatever. So I go home, and I get a call about 2 hours later. Excuse me. And he says, can you come down tomorrow? And I said, no, because I haven't got any money.
You still didn't know who it was for?
No, I had no idea who it was. I had no idea. So he says, don't worry, get yourself in I've told this story a lot of times. It's quite a story, I suppose.
But you know what? This time, this is going to be in the cloud forever.
Yes. Timeless.
2,000 years from now, people are going to be like wearing the AC/DC shirts and wanting to hear about this.
In the Zimmer frames.
Yes.
Yeah, so I go back down, and he says, get in a cab and don't worry, we'll pay for it. So I go back down, and we're walking. I walked into the place, and then he walked me down this hallway, and there are all these flight cases with AC/DC on them. And I sort of stopped him, and I said, you've got to be kidding, right? And he just gave me a big smile, and I said, holy fucking shit. So anyway, we walk a little further, and we go in, and I get to meet them, and they're all really down to earth and just normal looking guys, and we did a little bit of talking, and then well, what songs we ran through Highway to Hell, Back in Black, all those songs and stuff. And next thing I know, they took a break, and we're sitting around, they're talking and stuff, and they're talking about the next tour, and I leaned over and I said, does this mean that I'm in the band? And he said, Mal said, yeah, well, it looks like it, doesn't it? So I'm like, I couldn't wait to get out of that place and call my father, and let him know,
Yeah. How old were you then?
Oh, I was 18, something like that. Yeah,
amazing.
18 and a half, something like that. And they were all a lot older than me, obviously, and, that was a little strange, but they did kind of look after me and made sure I didn't go down the wrong path.
That's great.
Yeah, because
that's fantastic.
It was a bit like sticking your head in a washing machine. You didn't know what the hell was going on. You just,
Yeah. I kind of had the opposite effect with Ozzy. Ozzy wanted to make sure I went down every wrong path.
Yeah. Come with me, Rudy. I'll show you.
I'll show you.
I'll show you, Rudy. Come on.
Words of advice was you never. I mean, of course, I'm not going to imitate Ozzy now.
That
would be
a really bad imitation. I'm sorry.
No, not from you. I mean, you're English, so it's easy.
I think I got it. Yeah. I don't know.
You got the advantage. A Cuban trying to imitate Ozzy speaking, it just doesn't make any sense.
Might not know.
Somebody gives me this words of advice early on in me joining the band. He says, unless you catch every single disease there's out there, you'll never be a rock star. STDs, sexually transmitted disease.
Gotta get them out of the way.
So it was like, okay. Let's go.
Bring them on.
Of course, this is before I met my wife to be. This is like at the very, very beginning.
Yes.
A little disclaimer there.
Yeah.
And so you're in AC/DC. What was the first thing you guys did? How much time do you have to prepare to go on the road? I had 10 days before we started playing with Ozzy.
I had a little bit more than that, but not 10 days. Wow.
10 days. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. I think that's why they picked me, because it was like, we got to get somebody. And Randy says that this guy is cool and he's not going to be trouble. Basically, that was it. That was the reason why I got the gig.
Yeah.
They was pretty desperate. We got to get anybody. And Randy already played with this guy, and he says he's cool and, he's all right. He's going to be all right on the bus, because we had to hang out on the bus together.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be a bad influence on Ozzy. I mean, can you imagine that?
You'd have to be pretty bad to be a bad influence on Ozzy.
But. Yeah. He's like Charles Manson would not even be a bad influence, on Ozzy.
Yeah.
So basically, that's how I got the gig. But I see AC/DC have more time to actually look for somebody.
Well, I don't know how long they were looking like, because I'm not sure. I know they auditioned a lot of people. I heard 500, 600 drummers.
Wow.
And I couldn't imagine being a guitar player or a bass player dealing with that. It was just like unbelievable. And that's so many people.
What were they looking for? Did they ever tell you?
No, they didn't tell me anything. They just said, let's just play the songs. And they didn't tell me a way to play them or anything. How I approached it, I just went in and I just played the songs the way they were on the record. I didn't embellish anything. You can't really embellish because it's just straightforward rock and roll, So I just went and did it.
Yeah, I've never played, as I recall, any AC/DC songs with you.
No, I don't think we have.
But we have talked about it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really recall is you telling me that there's only one way to play AC/DC songs.
There is. There's one way with 2 or 3 aspects to it.
Yes.
Which is playing it live. You got to have stamina, definitely. And the other thing that you have to have is the swing and the groove of it. And I did my best at impersonating who I think is the perfect drummer for AC/DC, and that's the one who's the original guy, Phil Rudd.
What makes him perfect?
I don't know. It's his swing. It's his groove.
Interesting.
It's so you can try and learn it, but to actually get it, that groove is very.
Yeah, it's kind of for bass players trying to play like McCartney. It's when I first saw the Beatles, I said, I think bass got 4 strings. Okay, that's the easy instrument, and I don't have to learn chords or anything, and chicks dig it, and a couple of years from now, I'll be playing like Paul McCartney. Flash forward, decades later, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a personality that somebody brings to the instrument that's you can't capture it. Well, you can try and capture it and all, but it's just it's in there. It's in the person.
Yeah. Speaking of instruments, the Hofner is not the easiest bass to play with.
I've heard that.
It's like a ukulele, basically. Yeah. And he was masterful with it. And then he switched over to the Rickenbacker.
Yeah.
And it's the same. The Rick is another instrument that is not an easy instrument to play with. Yeah. And there's like a handful of bassists, that are considered Rickenbacker bassists, that are masters of the instrument. Chris Squire being one of them, and of course Geddy Lee in that certain period, but then he switched over to Fender, and of course Paul McCartney during that period. And it's either you're gonna get it or not get it. And somebody like McCartney to switch over from the Hofner over to the Rick, it was just incredible. I mean, along the way he played a couple of other models and brands, but he's best known for that.
But when you heard it being played, it was still Paul McCartney.
It was still Paul McCartney.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Person.
Absolutely. And also, how many bass players are known for playing a Hofner?
That's true. Yeah, he's the only one I can think of. Yeah. So that
might
be wrong, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a very rare thing. McCartney is, he's an anomaly.
Didn't Ronnie used to have a Hofner?
Well, he had a Gibson.
The
old
same
Gibson.
shape, right?
Yeah, the old Gibson with the stand.
Yeah.
AB something, EB models. Yeah, like from the 40s.
That's right. Yeah. I used to see him blinking away on that.
And McCartney is a really great drummer too. I was listening to a track that the DJ introduced the track and said, well, actually Ringo was out of the band during this time, so McCartney got to record the drums to Dear Prudence. And I've always loved that break at the end. It's like a drum solo, in the outro.
Yeah.
And it's actually Paul McCartney playing that.
Yeah, that's right, he does, because I used to love, there was a Wings album called Band on the Run. And was it Band on the Run? Yeah, I think it was. He plays all drums on that.
Yeah.
He went to Jamaica.
And on the first record, it's actually just him and Linda singing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just he played everything, like Maybe I'm Amazed and all those songs. That's him playing every single instrument.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And speaking of Linda, I know a lot of people make fun of her singing, but I got to tell you, Wings or those songs, when he plays them live, they just do not sound the same with her background vocal.
Yeah, that's to be said. That a certain sound. That's
a sound that he had. It was amazing, and it's, to me, it's the sound of somebody who, I'm going to sing along. I think one of the great aspects of her vocal, it was like the everyday person singing along with Paul McCartney. You got this great gifted vocalist, and then you got this person that sounds just the average person singing along.
Yeah.
In tune, but definitely not an operatic voice or even a great rock and roll voice. Just a very honest, sweet little voice that just sat in the perfect spot in the mix.
She did used to get a lot of stick for different reasons, but I think in the end a lot of people were sympathetic because she was part of the family. And I think it worked out better.
I really missed that.
Yeah.
So moving along. Okay, so how many records did you get to play with AC/DC?
I did 3. Well, actually, there was a live EP that came out as well, with some live stuff at Jailbreak, and then I think there was live stuff on the other side and stuff. But 3 albums,
3 albums, and they are... because people are going to run to the record store and find out that it's closed, but they're going to run there to get these records.
They're going to run to stream it on YouTube. It was Fly on the Wall, Who Made Who, and Blow Up Your Video.
Who Made Who? Well, yeah.
Well, that was a weird album because it was, I really had nothing to do with why it ended up the way it was, but it was to go with an album, a movie by Stephen King called Maximum Overdrive. And personally, I would have liked it to have done a proper studio album, but it ended up being some of the music went along with the soundtrack and the movie.
Did the band approach it different?
No, not really. No.
They just wrote the songs, and it wasn't like, okay, on this scene we need this type of beat or feel or rhythm chords or anything like that, or lyrics.
No, not really. I suppose it was a little different because they'd set up these televisions in the studio. So cause some of the tracks there was a chase scene.
Yeah.
And they said, we want you to play along, maybe catch some of the crashes with the trucks.
Interesting. So there was a bit of that. Okay, you guys were actually. It was actually a soundtrack to a movie then.
It was. I found it really silly. The whole thing was just really.
So the whole album is a full album of a soundtrack to a movie?
No, that's the thing. There's only, I think there's 4 or 5, they're like instrumentals. And the rest were songs that were greatest hits and stuff. She showed me all my songs on there and stuff. Yeah. So it was kind of a package that those songs were on the movie as well, or snippets of them as well.
Yeah.
What a movie.
Yeah. So after Maximum,
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.